ladies and gentlemen, we are officially getting underway with our mock draft for the 2021 NFL Draft. I am very excited, to say the least. We are going to establish some ground rules up front. First thing we'll describe is we are not drafting from the perspective of who we would draft if we were GMs. We're drafting from the perspective of what we think the teams are going to do from our understanding, along with, kind of some insider ball on like research that we've done, as well as what we see from prospects and their potential and kind of the team needs and fits. So it's not going to be as much as like you might hear a little bit about what we would do. However, that we're going to give you picks of what we expect the teams to do or have an idea of what the teams are doing. So that's a little ground rules, and we're going to give you draft order. I'm going first. Who you guys want to tell your specific draft order? I'm going first. Who's second? Smicky second.
I'm third.
Ev is third. Zebo is fourth. All right, Zebo's coming up third. So leading off, Zebo batting cleanup. We're just going to keep varying picks, with the exception of a few here and there. You'll see why as we want to make picks for our own team. With that being said, I don't have anything else in particular I need to point out before we get started. Do y'all have anything? If not, I'm gonna get the ball rolling here, and we can just start popping off with these picks.
Let's do it.
All right, sweet. Let's get the ball rolling. I'm number one. I think Ab kind of set it up so I get the Colts pick, but I also feel like he kind of set this up so I had to draft a Clemson quarterback to start my draft in the most awful way I possibly could. So thank you for that, Evan. I had to deal with Trevor Lawrence kicking my butt enough at University of South Carolina, and now I got to draft him number one overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But this is a no question. Once in generational talent. Not once in generation, but that's what the scouts are saying. I personally think he's very, very, very good. I do think there's a little bit of additional hype because of the fact that he fits that archetype of like your ideal NFL quarterback. And he's obviously had some success in college. However, I don't think he's as like foolproof as people are making him out to be. And I don't think that like the level at which he plays is like, leaps and bounds higher than a Zach Wilson, for example, although I'm pretty high on Zach Wilson in the sense of, scouting. And I know I'm not going to steal anyone's thunder, but I do want to take a second, Ev, to give our boy Holden Maccabee a shout out for putting Zach Wilson on the mantle as a guy that's going to go top 5 literally months and months and months ago when he was barely projected as a first rounder. So that's what I'm going to use my time to project. And one last thing I'll say is, if I had the number one overall pick and Trevor Lawrence didn't exist in this draft, Kyle Pitts would be my number one overall pick. And I never thought I'd say that about I never thought I'd say that about a tight end. That's all I have to say. Kicking it over to you guys.
Yeah, I thought I was supposed to come on here for some hot takes. My goodness. That's not top. That's not being topped. Wow.
Yeah. At the risk of derailing the segment further, because I know we're trying to be quick, but shouting out Holden, that was amazing that he did that. I mean, that was like a year ago when he, like you said, he wasn't even a first rounder. So
nice.
Definitely a shout out. But what do you guys think of the whole Trevor Lawrence kind of quote he came out with about, football not being everything and that kind of stuff?
It's things interesting. He's the undisputed first round or the first overall pick. I treat it like an Elway type of player. I mean, you don't get many of them down the road, and he's just so talented. He's got wheels. He's got pocket presence, and I think the thing that separates him from all the other quarterbacks in the draft is throwing opposite shoulder. You can roll like comfortably. You can roll out opposite field, and he can turn around and whip that thing with his right arm. So I think that's the big difference here. So Lawrence, in my opinion, undisputed number one, playing with Urban Meyer. Let's go.
All righty, let's move on to number 2. Kev, what do you think the Jets are going to do?
Lawrence is about the lock of the century. This is pretty much the lock, at least the decade here with Zach Wilson. So it's kind of been set in stone for months. Personally, this wouldn't be my selection if I'm Joe Douglas, former Eagle. I'm not really a full believer in Zach Wilson. I feel like he's too much of an outlier. He just seems like, these Patrick Mahomes comps seem a little wild to me, and I don't know. I think that he's probably the quarterback 4 in this class. I don't think he's terrible, but I think, Justin Fields and Trey Lance, I think, are better in my book, at least. I'd take Justin Fields here too if I'm New York, but that's my take on that. I think teams are discounting like mobility and stuff, but like, Justin Fields and Trey Lance also have arm talent as well, not just, mobility. They're not just runners.
So does Zach, though.
He does, but he bothers me with his errant throws, and I know he's real risky, but I mean, a year of some bad decision makings, he could make his career pretty short. Where I think the other guys are, I don't know. I'm not totally sold on Zach Wilson. We'll see. I'll leave it up to you guys where you take from there.
Can I throw in a perspective real quick?
Yeah.
I think Zach Wilson, and you guys might think I'm just saying this because I'm not a Clemson fan, but I think Zach Wilson, it would not surprise me if he ended up being the best quarterback in this draft class. And I know that's a bold take. He's the closest thing in the sense of when I've watched film with the deep ball and his ability to throw the ball down the field, along with his mobility and his athleticism. He's the closest thing to Mahomes I've seen in a few years of quarterbacks in draft classes. So as far as upside goes, his upside is immense. He's not as tall, but in the modern NFL, the way the game is played with the quarterback has changed a lot. And I think he can fit that mold very, very well. I'm not going to keep diving in, but I just wanted to put that take out there.
I think that's kind of mine as well. I think the upside is too big to pass up on. I see a lot of the risk that Kev mentioned, but I think the upside's too much. Zach, anything before we move on to 3?
Yeah, I think he's a very anticipatory thrower, which is good. He's taking risks. That's what you like to see, especially as an NFL scout. But to Sai's point, I love the mobility. I think he's a solid number 2 here. Let's just hope the New York Jets don't ruin him.
That's my main thing. Yeah, there's just the Jets, and we'll see.
They probably will. But moving over to 3, which is kind of where the draft starts here. We know it's going to be a quarterback, but obviously San Francisco traded up for this pick. Who did they trade up for? Word is still out that they haven't decided yet. They're still open to taking any of the 3 guys left. The initial word was that it was going to be Mac Jones. And again, this draft that we're doing here is what we think the team will do. The initial word was Mac Jones. I refuse to believe that they traded up to number 3 in this draft to take Mac Jones. I have too much respect for Shanahan and the 49ers front office as a whole. I'll be damned if I get it wrong, but I refuse to believe that's what they're doing, which makes it hard between even Lance and Fields. I think they have fallen in love with Lance, and I think they go Lance.
Love it.
And if they go Mac Jones, then on Thursday night, I'm happy to be wrong, but I cannot believe that they're going to pick Mac Jones at number 3.
I love that, E. I think they go Fields. Here. I think the Mac Jones hype is starting to die down a little bit, because why in the world would they trade up to 3 when Mac Jones is going to be there at 9? And I think that was the big question that we even discussed on the last podcast, E. But real quick, I think it's going to be either Lance or Fields. I like that dynamic dual threatness that both possess, that Mac Jones certainly doesn't. I've got Fields edging out Lance at 3.
I think it's going to be Mac Jones.
Great.
And not because I think it should be Mac Jones. I agree with you guys that I'd probably lean one of those other 2 guys just on upside alone. But I heard Kyle Shanahan's guy is Mac Jones, whereas the front office's guy is Trey Lance. But the most recent reports I'm hearing is the odds are actually on Mac Jones to be the pick for them, even though initially they were talking smokescreen. So they're just confusing everybody right now. They're literally screwing up the draft for everybody with moving up to 3, and I love it. I'm here for it. Like, give us all the confusion.
I guess I'm a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, you are.
Go ahead. Say what you were saying. Yeah,
I do think it's one of those things, like, people have their gut instinct, and when they have time to make decisions like this, like, they think about everything, and there's all this stuff that comes out, but ultimately, part of me does think that they end up going with their gut, which I think was Mac Jones, to Sai's point. But Kev, who do you think they're going with?
To reiterate exactly what Sai said, I mean, there's a report, I sent it to you earlier today, but Adam Schefter, there's literally 5 tweets of just nonsense between John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan were interviewed today. And literally it just says we went to all these college games, Zoom calls, interviewed all these players. Our job is to make the right decisions, blah, blah, blah. We could sat there at 12, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense that says we're not listening to what people should tell us we should take. I refuse to believe it's not. I also refuse to believe that they traded all this future stuff for futuristic Kirk Cousins, but it seems like that's what they're doing. I'm going with Mac Jones here. I think it's absolutely terrible if they do it. I will laugh just hysterically if they do that. It's really sad. I don't see all these texts coming in, or these tweets coming in today if they're not taking Mac Jones. Basically, they're saying, we don't care what people say. Real quick, I'll just say that I think it's a Kyle Shanahan ego thing. Like, it's like, dude, I don't care who was in the QB chair. My system trumps all. Doesn't matter who's there. I don't need to take the best player. This guy, him and I vibe the best. We're going with it. And it's kind of ridiculous that it just seems like he's being maybe a little egotistical. I could be totally wrong, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Trey Lance. I love that you picked Trey Lance here. I probably would as well. Between him and Fields, I think you can't go wrong with either of them here. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hang on to too far. I think we got two Mac Joneses and one of the other two. So let's jump over and we'll see what happens. We'll see who was right on Thursday. So Zach, it's your pick, man. Your Falcons are on the clock, baby. Who you got?
Good. Click that trade button, E, because that's truly what I think the new GM Terry Fontenette is going to do. The reason is this, very simple. Atlanta has the least amount of players that are currently signed, and they are barely under the cap. It is to an embarrassing level. We barely have 50 players signed. So the reason that this is important is we can't afford to play, or we can't afford to pay the 4th overall pick $6 million a year on a rookie deal. We need to trade back. And with that 4th quarterback still being there, that's what we're hoping is going to happen. So I have the Atlanta Falcons trading to 9 with the Denver Broncos, and the Broncos select Trey Lance or Mac Jones, whoever is still available, Justin Fields, you name it. It's complicated because we're all kind of going off of each other's picks. So I think Denver Broncos trade up and they go Justin Fields at 4.
I can't believe you, bro. I can't believe you. As a Falcons fan, as a Tony Gonzalez fan, as a team that had one of the greatest tight ends in the history of football, we are looking at the greatest tight end prospect since Gronk, since Gonzalez. He's probably better than those guys who are coming out of college. You have a chance to take generational tight end at that pick, and you're going to trade out of that pick when he could be your baseline guy right next to Calvin Ridley for your entire future. Bro, you got to take Kyle Pitts, man. You got to take Kyle Pitts.
Defense.
You got to take Kyle Pitts, bro. He's too good. He's too good. All right, that's all I'll say.
I cannot wait to have a Kyle Pitts debate when he comes up. So I'm ready for it.
Yeah, no, this is a tough one. Logistically, are we allowing this here? We didn't discuss this before.
I'm the guest here. I'm just rolling.
I don't think we're allowed to allow trades because it's going to cause a massive, a cluster of situations going on. So Zach, you have to make a pick, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I think we can always do
official prediction. We got it on the podcast, so we'll bank that in. But I guess
quick sidebar here, because we can always do like another 40-minute video if we want to get a couple other picks in. I think that would be kind of fun because we could literally we're all going off of each other. Like, I didn't have Lance going at 3, but that was Evan's pick that I have to respect, and then we have to ballpark based off of it and have this thing go its course. But it adds too many layers, right? Because what does it do for the other picks? Like, do people lose first round picks? Like, the Colts might trade out of the first round altogether. Like, yeah, but it's not going to be that outlandish. Once you get after the top 10, I just have everybody select.
I think we should do Zach. You should say that you think they're going to trade, but if you had to make a pick, this is who it should be. So that way you're on paper saying that you think this is what's going to happen, and that the Broncos will take a quarterback, but that we still keep the draft order the same, because it's just going to cause a lot of craziness, because that's probably what I'll do with my Colts too, for example.
I love what you've done, but it doesn't let us do trades in this non-premium version anyway, so we don't have a choice. So just carry on and make a pick.
You can do a trade on the top.
No, right? But it gives you exclusive for premium.
All right. So overall, we can't trade on this feature here that Ev has in front of us. So I have to make a pick. I'm going to make a Kyle Pitts selection here. And the reason being is because we can't get a quarterback. because we restructured Matt Ryan's deal, and he's going to be an employee until 2023. So as much as I would love to get Pitt or Fields, and Fields is he's a Georgia guy out of Alpharetta. Atlanta would be the great pick here. It's just Kyle Pitts is just too raw of a talent, so I've got him at 4.
Love it. Can't go wrong.
I think it makes sense. Yeah.
He's polished. He's polished. He's not just raw. He's polished already, and he's still got a ton of ceiling. Kyle Pitts he's going to be something special. Man, he's the biggest short thing in this draft for me, even more than Trevor Lawrence. As crazy as you might think I am for saying that. So anyway, I'm going to jump into my pick. I actually think here, this might surprise people a little bit. I think a lot of people are thinking this pick is between Jamar Chase and between Penei Sewell. I think that they need to protect Joe Burrow, and I think Burrow might be in their ear being like, yo, I want Chase. And I don't fault them for that because Chase is absolutely incredible. But I think they need to protect Burrow. However, I don't think they're going to protect him with Penei Sewell. I think they're going to protect him with Rashawn Slater because Penei Sewell is your more like raw talent that's like, this big, strong guy and has this big ceiling. However, Slater has been the better player in college and has had the better matchups. And you can go look at his tape against Chase Young. And that tape is better than any tape you've seen from Penei Sewell in the sense of what he's been able to do holistically. So I actually think Rashawn Slater is the pick here over Penei Sewell, even though a lot of people think it's going to be Sewell or Chase. That's what I think.
Wow, Cy.
That's a cool
little wrinkle. I like it.
It might not even be a hot take. That's pretty cool.
I've heard some Slater over Sewell buzz as well. I like that.
Yeah, it sounds like Sewell's falling. I don't know why, which there's a wrinkle here for me. Actually, no, it doesn't, because I was expecting him to take Sewell.
A lot of scouts don't like how raw he is because there's a lot of assignments where he's gotten beat off the line. Like I wouldn't watch a lot of tape, whereas Slater has been the more like just standard sturdy tackle, and he's also a terrific player. So he's a little bit safer. So I think people like him a little bit more because when you want an offensive lineman, you want safe. Like that's the point of taking offensive lineman.
He shut down Chase Young. That's what his claim to fame is, right? Like he absolutely dominated Chase Young, didn't he?
He played amazing. I don't think anybody shut down Chase Young, but yeah.
Right. As much as you're going to shut down Chase Young, I think I'm pretty sure that's what kind of put him on the market.
Before you jump, I'm just going to say I'm going to laugh so hard when or if the Bengals don't take a tackle.
I know.
Yeah.
After Burrow tore his ACL, please take a tackle.
Everything. I mean, their line is so atrocious. Bad. Why even bother having a franchise quarterback if you're not on the line? I mean, the receivers are good too. Like I think looking at Chase, I know there's probably pressure from Burrow trying to hey, sign my teammate. Like we got this chemistry, but dude, they got a really good receiving core between Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins really was unbelievable last year, and then Alden Tate's kind of slept on. It's a good core, man. You can still grab someone a second. Draft lineman, man. Draft freaking lineman. All right, so pick 6. I made this pretty easy for me. This is a straight layup. If you pick Jamar Chase, I honestly was not sure where I was going to go with this. I would have made it very interesting. I like what they have on the line there. They shore that up. I know they drafted Austin Jackson in the first round last year. The Dolphins seem like they pretty got a decent line. They played pretty well. It's Jamar Chase. They basically need to see if Tua is the guy for sure. They have enough assets to get a quarterback if they need to, if he is not the guy. I mean, there's rumors that they were even potentially into Deshaun Watson and flip Tua for him. That's a whole different story. They just basically need some weapons. So, signing Will Fuller, having him there, Mike Gesicki, that really just makes too much sense there. I think that's an absolute layup. And for me, Jamar Chase, as Cy said for Kyle Pitts being the most layup and, what'd you say, most confident guy in the whole draft, I think he's the most sure thing. Jamar Chase, absolute beyond stud of a prospect, one of the best receiving prospects since Megatron. He's good, man. There's really nothing else to say. I mean, the fact that he was the number 1 when Justin Jefferson was the number 2, and Justin Jefferson just had that season. Not saying he's going to beat that, but I'm just saying that's how good Justin Jefferson was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like it. I'll move on to Detroit. They could go in any number of ways here because, at least according to this, their top 3 needs are wide receiver, corner, and offensive tackle, which are some of the top players left. Yeah. I've kind of liked the Waddle to Detroit fit. I'm going to give him Jalen Waddle. I don't know why, but I like them going receiver here.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they have nothing there. They lost Galladay. Yeah, they needed that bad.
Makes sense. Who's pick 8? Zach, is it you?
Sweet. I'm 8 here. Carolina, my arch nemesis, despite the fact that I live in Charlotte right now. But with Rashawn Slater going at 5, I think Carolina needs to shore up the offensive line front. They have Moton at right tackle, but they need that left tackle. And with a guy as agile as Christian McCaffrey, wouldn't you love a guy like Penei Sewell? A guy who is very versatile on left tackle. He loves running out there, taking down a corner on a swing play where he's pulling. I think this is the pick to make here for Carolina. And I mean, geez, a guy like this falling at 8 is nothing short of incredible. So that's 8 to Carolina there.
They'd be jumping, so they'd be so excited to have.
That's a layup, yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about being excited to have somebody fall to them. But now I'm picking for the Denver Broncos, and I get Justin Fields. I get Justin Fields at picking up at 9. Like, let's not even waste any time. Lock in Mr. Ohio State guy, and let's move on because there's nothing to talk about. That's an easy pick for the Broncos. John Elway's doing his happy dance right now. If this happens,
seriously,
he didn't even have to trade up.
I think this is very possible. I can see all of this actually happening, everything that just happened.
Keep it realistic.
They've been talking about some quarterbacks falling, and I think actually my pick here at 10, I think that this is a spot where some teams are going to start calling and be like, look, Patriots, I want Mac Jones. I need a quarterback. Or maybe someone leaps. I could honestly see the Panthers trading down there at 8. Not if Sewell falls, but if someone else, maybe they don't want Slater, or maybe they think they can get Slater later. If someone gives them arm and a leg for a quarterback, I think they move up, and maybe even the Broncos panic and just give them a couple extra picks to go back one slot, something like that. So puts me at 10. I'm not going to get crazy here. This will sound like a layup. Patrick Surtain, I'll just put it on the board. They need a quarterback more than anything. Their defense is terrible. It sounds like this pick actually is maybe even second to or third to the first 2 picks of easy locks. There's no lie. They love Patrick Surtain. I've seen that all over the internet. I'd be absolutely shocked if they don't, 1, take a corner, or 2, actually, and leave this draft with him. So, yeah.
Zach, we need to take some time on to let you talk about this, man. We need to take some time to let you talk about it.
I saw your face. I was curious.
I will say, Zach, you did mention this last week, so we don't need to –
No, not to belabor it.
We can get size.
2 seconds on this. I respect it, and I can see the Cowboys doing this because they just drafted an Alabama guy the year prior in Trayvon Diggs. And there's like a staple of approval with an Alabama corner, like, right, Fitzpatrick, you got Marlon Humphrey, et cetera, right, Tre'Davious White. I can see them doing this, but I do think J.C. Horn is the most athletic and talented corner in this draft. And I'm a Hokie, so I want Caleb Farley to get picked. He will get picked later in the round. I'll pass it over to Evan for number 11 here.
Go Cy with the Cox.
Oh, gotcha.
Wait, real quick. Yeah, real quick. So, Zach, you think that you would first pick J.C. Horn, but you do see them for sure going corner this first time?
I think so. Yeah, I think I agree with this Cowboys pick, but I do think J.C. could get selected by a team earlier.
One surprise me. Yeah.
Can I jump in as a Gamecock interview? I think Surtain is the right pick actually for the Cowboys over J.C. Horn. Like, as a Gamecock fan, I think he's the right pick for what the Cowboys want to do on defense and what they already have. I think he's a really smart, fits right into their system, and he's a more do everything kind of corner. I think J.C. Horn is a better overall man-to-man lockdown corner. So I think he's going to work out well for another team that's coming up pretty soon. So I really don't think you can go wrong. The funny part is I think Caleb Farley is better than both of them if he's healthy. So that's kind of what it comes down to: high risk, high reward. Anyway, move on.
All right, so this is me. This could be Horn. I'm going to say it's not. I'm going to say it's Devontae Smith.
Wow.
I think the Giants have a lot of weapons, but I think they want more, and I think they'll be too intrigued there.
Yeah.
All right, so we're switching up the order here. I'm picking my hometown Birds here at 12. As a fan, right, for myself, my own opinion here, If I see Devontae Smith go off the board at number 11, I am the happiest man in the freaking world. I want absolutely nothing to do with Devontae Smith. This isn't being a trend. I'm noticing this. I'm hearing myself talk here. And I'm just not a big outlier guy. First round picks, I think you just absolutely need a hit between Zach Wilson and, I didn't get to talk to about it, but Kyle Pitts. I feel just the outliers and Devontae Smith, not many people are in his profile. I get the elite production, but he didn't break out to a late age. And I'm going on a wrong tangent here, mostly because I think that we might pick Devontae Smith, and I'm just prepping myself to be angry on Thursday's podcast when I join for you guys. But, yeah, so I think this pick will come down between Devontae Smith and J.C. Horn. I'm hearing a lot of J.C. Horn. You can fire that in there, Ev. This would honestly, I think, make Howie's decision pretty easy. Go Cox. Like Zach said earlier, I think he's an absolute stud of corner. We have an absolute glaring need. And I've been saying this for a while just to my local buddies. Like, I think the main reason we actually traded down is we were like, there's a lot of good corners in this draft. We don't feel comfortable taking one at 6. So let's trade back, get a future first, and, most likely, J.C. Horn or, Surtain or someone will be available here. We're even Farley as well. But honestly, I think if I'm Howie Roseman right here, I call Bill Belichick up and say, hey, what do you want for 15? I'm totally fine with getting more assets. Like, hey, someone else is coming up here for Mac Jones. I mean, he's still on the board here. He's going to go into free fall. But especially with the Vikings maybe won them, I 100% trade out here. But keep saying Pat. Yeah, J.C. Horn.
I love it. Sai, what do you got for the Chargers?
This one is going to be protection. And I think you just got to protect your boy Justin Herbert. Same situation as Joe Burrow, Christian Darrisaw, another Virginia Tech guy that we need to talk about. Stud. He's still one of your more sure thing kind of tackles in this draft. Take them, protect them, sit pretty, and move on. So Christian Darrisaw. That's what I got.
Saw a rumor today that they were trying to trade up from the official Chargers count actually tweeted out that they traded up from 13 to 11 with the Giants, trying to leapfrog, I guess, the Birds. I don't know. It was deleted, but people screenshot those.
It's interesting.
We'll see.
So Zach will, since Kev got one of yours, you'll make this one.
All right, cool. This is Minnesota, I believe. So I think they need an edge guy. Or a big pass rusher. That's where you think Kwity Paye comes into the mix. But I don't think Minnesota goes with him because they historically like those big guys up front, right? They don't really have a lot of smaller pass rushers that they haven't in the near future or recent history. So they ignore Kwity Paye and they go with Jalen Phillips out of Miami. That's my pick for Minnesota. I really like what he's doing over there. And, as an ACC guy, I've watched him for years, and he's just nothing short of incredible. Definitely a lot bigger, and I think just something more in line with what Minnesota wants.
So I will make a comment real quick there, Zach. I actually think Jalen Phillips would have been an easy top 10 pick this year if he never got hurt. His big thing is he got hurt really badly, retired from football, came back, went to Miami, had a couple more injuries. So his health profile is going to be really, really important. If it all checks out, though, we're talking an absolute stud on the edge, in my opinion. I think he's definitely the best edge rusher that you could get in this draft. And that's saying something because in most drafts, you usually see an edge rusher go top 5.
Yeah.
This draft, we don't see that. And I think he would have been that guy if he could have been healthy. So I think that's a great pick if he's healthy. And that's such a Minnesota guy. You're right. He fits that profile so perfectly. That's good.
Real quick on the injury stuff, I saw that today that a lot of teams are getting medical info late. So there's a lot of they're just make info or make decisions on the fly, basically, where very limited info, and it could cause some current guys to slide. So Jalen Phillips, someone definitely watch out for that. But he is absolutely talented, that's for sure.
Awesome.
I love it, Zach. So it's me with the Pats. I think layup here if Mac Jones is available. I think they take him. I think they very well might try and trade up for him. So, but here they don't have to. So Mac Jones.
That's where he should go. Really, that's a good range for him.
Let's keep it moving.
So Zach, actually take this one as well, and we'll be back on schedule.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds good. I think with Arizona, Arizona's interesting because they need linemen to protect Kyler Murray, especially with Kyler's fragile body there. But they also need defense, or specifically the DBs, especially with the absence of Patrick Peterson. So this is where I think Farley goes. I think Farley fits this defensive scheme. He's fast. He's physical. He does remind me of Patrick Peterson in many ways. I think Caleb Farley goes here, Arizona comfortably. I think the only other competition is Greg Newsome, but Farley is far more athletic. I think this is what Arizona wants here at 16.
Okay. This is putting me in a tough spot here, guys, because I know I'm a big believer in best available. I don't know what Oakland's plan is in terms of best available. The best available player here is Micah Parsons, and the best available player is Micah Parsons for the Oakland Raiders. In my opinion, I think he is so good, and I think just because of his position versatility, people are a little bit hesitant on that end. However, I think they're gonna invest in protecting their quarterback because they're another team that was getting killed on the offensive line. And here is the last good lineman that you have in the first round for a long, for a while. I think they're locking on Tevin Jenkins and move forward. And now the rest of the teams that want offensive linemen, for example, the football team and the Colts and some of these other teams are going to be like, all right, what do we do with our picks now? So I think Tevin Jenkins ends up on the Raiders.
I love that pick. Yeah, couldn't agree more. They went from having a really borderline elite line to that's their main weakness now. So yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Kev. Me again then, right? So this is cool. It even crosses out receivers. So yeah, it says they need edge and running back. I was even wondering if they even bother taking a running back here. It's way too early. I would never take a running back the first 2 rounds, but I don't know. When you have that many picks, do you just start throwing them around like crazy? I was kind of thinking here that they might go. I'll just go straight to it. I think they go Kwity Paye. I think that's kind of a need for them. Shore up their edge. I'm not a huge Kwity Paye fan, but I agree. He's definitely. Some people have him as the best in the class, but I think he's okay. But just not a super high ceiling. You kind of know what you're going to get. Nothing wrong with that for what they're doing. I think that's pretty solid. You just want to hit on some first round picks. So yeah.
All right, it's me, Washington football team. They got kind of I don't know what they're thinking, but kind of a dream scenario here where you get Michael Parsons falling. But we also have a tweet earlier this week that if Elijah Vera Tucker is on the board at that pick, they're going to take him. If it were me, take Parsons. But I believe that tweet, and from what I've heard, Vera Tucker makes a lot of sense here. And it seems like they really are leaning offensive line with the first pick, which I think makes a lot of sense because you get some linebackers and stuff later. And Vera Tucker makes a lot of sense because of that flexibility between guard and tackle, where at this point, it seems like Scherf may not be coming back next year. So he can either be your Scherf replacement, or this year he can be your, we have a decent but older and expiring contract left tackle, so he can do that as well. So I think I would want it to be Parsons, but I do kind of buy the hype that Vera Tucker is a target. So I'm gonna go that way in terms of what I think they'll do.
Nice. Go ahead, Zach.
No, I was just saying, I think Washington is in such a good position this year to just the hold and draft at 18, because it would be a great selection to get Corey Moore out of Notre Dame, and he's almost at this point in the draft your third position based on their current availability. So what a great selection for Washington based on the options here.
People are saying Vera Tucker, if he gets because I think he played a lot of tackle in college. They're saying if he gets moved over to guard, and if he was playing guard in college, that he would have been a much higher pick because he's got all the assuming people are actually willing to pick guards, that's a rare occurrence, but he's supposed to be a really, really, really solid option at guard. So if you use him at guard, I think that's a great pick for y'all to protect that interior and open up your run game a little bit more for Gibson and those guys. I think that's a great pick for y'all, actually.
Yeah,
he's more of a neat pick.
He went guard to tackle, I think, but yeah, he graded higher at guard. And it's like, we also have Sadiq Charles, who we drafted last year, who's kind of the same like tackle or guard, but I think he's maybe more of a tackle. So then next year you can let Sheriff Fair Tucker plays guard.
I wouldn't be surprised on see if he gets drafted even higher. It seems like a lot of teams like him. I wouldn't even be surprised maybe.
I thought Vikings is.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Let's move along here. Zach,
I believe it's me, right? At 20, Chicago, they're going to need a corner here, especially based on the availability I see. Micah Parsons and Zaven Collins would be a very attractive picks here, but they already loaded up on Roquan Smith. So, they don't need that right now. I think they need Greg Newsome. This is where he goes to Chicago.
Cool.
And he replaces Kyle Fuller. They had to cut Kyle Fuller just based on the contract situation and the new salary cap at 185 mil. Obviously he's with the Denver Broncos right now. I think they replace him and he becomes their number one corner right off the bat. He's just he's one of these guys that's maybe a little bit better all around. He's not necessarily as athletic as some of the other guys, but he's just a good downright coverage corner. I expect him falling here at 20.
Before we let Cy go with his hometown Colts, he's probably laughing because he gets Parsons at 21, maybe if that's what he wants. But we do have a Zoom time limit. Do we think we can make it through the first round, or should we stop at 24?
I say we just keep going.
We got 5 to 8 minutes.
We should finish it. So if we need to make another call, we need to make another call. I'm not trying to miss the last couple of picks.
All right, Cy.
Yeah, no. We got 4 minutes and 49 seconds. So.
Yeah, we'll just have to restart if we don't get done with it. But let's keep it popping. I'm jumping in. Like, you gotta be joking right now. If Chris Ballard gets me and Micah Parsons to pair with Darius Leonard and Bobby Okereke to get pick 21, he's literally going to be like crying tears of joy. If this is never gonna happen on draft day, there is no way it is absolutely possible that Micah Parsons is available to us at pick number 21. He should be a top 12 pick. If he's available at 21, the Colts are 1,000,000% taking him. Chris Ballard is not I need the specific position, let me key it. He's let me drop the best guy available. And he's going to take Parsons, put him next to Okereke and Darius Leonard, and you're going to have the scariest trio of linebackers in the entire league. And people are going to be afraid to run the ball, pass the ball, do whatever. I love the idea of that. What I think more realistically is going to happen is Parsons is not going to be available. And Jeremiah Owusu is going to be our pick if he is available, and we make a pick. Otherwise, we trade. We're more likely than not going to trade. We love getting more picks. So those are my couple options for the Colts. That's what I honestly see happening, just based on we like quick, fast, athletic people. So that's always going to be the way Dow drafts. So that's what I think is going to happen. I don't like any of the edge guys left, with the exception of maybe Gregory Rousseau, but I don't know I don't think we're going to draft him there. So. Yeah.
Real quick on Parsons. So, I guess Penn State's kind of local for us, even though it's not that close, but our Philadelphia media picks that up a lot. A lot of people around Micah Parsons are really worried about him. Just think he's I've heard immature thrown out a lot. I think it's he doesn't take football seriously. There's a lot of character concerns. It just seems like he's just not mature enough to handle the pressures of becoming an NFL pro player. Talent is absolutely there, like you guys said, but personally, just from what I've heard recently, I would not be surprised if my man just starts sliding like you see a free fall. But yeah, talent is no question.
That's why I think it's not. I doubt it happens, but I don't think it's horribly.
I don't think it's crazy. Yeah, no, not at all.
If you got a good draft room, if you got a good locker room, you fix that. So, and we got a good locker room, so I'm not worried about that.
You can't fix people that don't care, though.
As long as he's down to play, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling.
Yeah.
So Titans up here. My first thought today, I was actually thinking about the Titans. They lost Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, replaced them with absolutely nobody. Right now, they just have AJ Brown and Anthony Ferguson. I know they pound the rock like no one's business, but This makes me think they need a threat there. I mean, actually, it does say their second need is receiver. I know their defense is pretty impressive. I love Christian Barmore. He's one of my favorite prospects. I think he actually goes way higher than this. But I think they just need a receiver prospect here. So even though I also love Rashad Bateman, and I won't even say this is one of my favorite guys, I'm going to go Kadarius Toney here. I think he will be the fifth receiver or fourth receiver selected. I think a lot of teams are very high on him. Just absolute playmaker, stud. I would take Rashad Bateman if I were them. That's more my type, but he didn't have a super great pro day. Measurements came in a little bit smaller than people kind of wanted. So yeah, people really like Kadarius Toney. Sound like he's going early. I've actually heard his ceiling's maybe in pick 20, so this is good value for him.
All righty. Back with the Jets at 23. I don't know a ton about what they're thinking here, really. What do we need? We need cornerback. We need edge. I could see them trying to get another wide receiver, but I don't know. I'll just go top need, sort of best available, I guess. Azeez Ojulari, from a lack of any particular opinion here.
I like Ojulari.
Yeah, I think that's the right pick there for the Jets.
Yeah.
Moving on to pick number 24, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think with the recent departure of James Conner, I think sending him in Arizona, I really do believe that Pittsburgh wants that authentic 20 carry plus per game running back. I think that's Najee Harris. I think Najee Harris goes to Pittsburgh here. I know they have lots of offensive line issues, right? They got to replace Villanueva. Pouncey just retired. But I think with the way this draft's going and Washington's selection here at 19, I think Najee Harris is a great pick for Pittsburgh. And he embodies that. I feel like he could go in and embody that mentality, which is, hey, we're going to give you the rock, at least 20 carries per game. And out of the other running backs that I see, I think Najee Harris is the guy that would fit that model really well. I don't necessarily see Travis Etienne fitting that mold super well. So Najee at 24 seems like the way to go.
Zach, he's got a little Dalvin in him, bro. Like, I love that pick because like he's got a little Dalvin in him. Like, you can use him on any single down and he can do anything for you. He'll take abuse, but he'll also run around you and he'll hurdle. He'll catch the ball. I think, like, if you really think about it, there's been a lot of running backs in recent years that have gone top 10. If this draft was a little bit different, Najee is capable of being a top 10 pick in terms of talent. So I absolutely love that pick for the Steelers because they love that physical kind of runner, and Najee can do everything. And I think he would be such a great fit for that offense and take some pressure off Ben with him being a little older. I love that.
This would be a lot of fun. I'm very anti running backs in first round, but that would make sense. And for fantasy purposes, it'd be fun. I'd be all about it. That'd be pretty great.
Yep. I'm going to jump into the pick right here. I'm the Jaguars, correct, Ev? If I'm remembering correctly. So this should be interesting. They have a lot of needs. Obviously, they're going to be taking their franchise quarterback. They're going to have good old Urban Meyer running the show now. I see one of their biggest needs is actually safety, and I know they could probably go a couple of ways. Obviously, with receiver as another need for them as well. I think the safeties available right now are better than the receivers available, in my opinion. I actually think one of the better picks here, and I don't know if I missed this, but if I remember correctly, is Mr. Trayvon Moray still on the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're going to go Trayvon, and this is actually a tough one because if they had a need at linebacker, I think Jeremiah Owusu, he's one of the better coverage linebackers coming out of this draft. Like in a pass-happy league, he's supposed to be so good to the point where they're saying he could play safety in the NFL. He's got that kind of raw talent. However, him and Trayvon are in a lot of rankings that I've seen are scouted to be about in the same range. And Trayvon is a more true safety. Like that's what he played in college. And I think he'll be a really good fit for Jacksonville to kind of shore up the back end of their defense and give them a little safety presence. So I think that's the direction they go with that pick. And that's what I got.
Cool. So I'm up with the Browns. They have absolutely had a phenomenal offseason. They've only addressed their defense. They've they pretty much have hit all corners for that. I'm leaning offense for this pick. It says they need edge and interior defensive line. If I have their depth chart up here right now, they got Billings and they just signed Clowney, Jordan Elliott. Actually, yeah, I could see that as a need. I'm going to switch that up on the spot here and go Christian Barmore because I don't think he should be on here anymore. I was leaning receiver, but that just makes more sense and just kind of goes with the flow of their offseason. So they're focusing on the defense, their offense. They got a lot of weapons there, and that's kind of turned into a really good team there.
Imagine that defensive line too.
Right, it's nasty.
Barmore and Garrett all coming at you,
dude.
and it prevents the double team too. They can't start double teaming those guys because you also have a great defensive lineman now coming at you in Barmore.
Yeah, I'm glad I did that because actually that does make a lot of sense, and just they shored up the back end, and now that really makes that line nasty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right, Baltimore here. I'm a little out of my depths now here. I'm going to be honest. Top need is the edge. Joe Tryon. I don't know who that is. I'm going to be honest with you. Anyone got any scouting on Joe Tryon out of Washington?
I don't know about Joe Tryon, but I will say that I saw today that there was a report that said the Ravens are pretty much keyed in on a wide receiver for this draft. I don't know how accurate that is, but there have been a couple of scouts that have said that they are keyed in on a wide receiver.
I've heard that as well. I was
So I get to choose from Bateman and Elijah Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still, if you want any input, I'd say Terrace Marshall. I think he's a lock first round pick.
Tough one. What do we need here? I'll go. Let's go Elijah Moore.
Could see that.
I like Elijah Moore.
I've heard a Tyler Lockett comp to him.
Yeah, I would almost throw Bateman as an option too because they have Marquise Brown, right, as their over the top guy. So maybe they do look for a bigger, stronger guy in Bateman too. Because if I remember correctly, Bateman has more of a physical presence, right? So that's another option.
Yeah, they look for like an alpha type guy, like their number one X receiver type of thing. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Who's next?
All right, so I'm kicking it off for the New Orleans Saints here. So this pick's interesting because the Saints were in salary cap hell and they had to get rid of half of their defense. So goodbye half of their corners, goodbye their linebackers, goodbye some of their defensive line guys. They were able to maintain Cam Jordan, and obviously they're paying Marshawn Lattimore as they should, but I think they need to – I think right now with where we are and the two linebackers up top, I think Jeremiah Koromora is more of a pressing need than Zaven Collins. Zaven Collins is a bigger – he reminds me of like a John Bostic, just like a huge presence in the middle of the field, and he would be a good replacement for Quan Alexander. However, I think Koromora is able to pick up guys in coverage, especially receivers or running backs are going to be playing twice a year, like Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield for like a flat pass. I think this would be a great addition for the New Orleans Saints. So I've got Koromora going to New Orleans here, fixing up that defense.
Okay. Oh man, this is going to be a tough one for the Packers because I'm just trying to find the next quarterback that they're going to take to replace Aaron Rodgers and their backup with, since clearly they have no intention of drafting to actually help their team currently. But if they
worst draft ever last year, that draft was horrendous. They had like literally nobody played in the playoff game. We're all season. That was horrible draft class.
Yep, and now I'm thinking to myself, maybe they can actually do something to help their franchise quarterback that was MVP last year. So let's go ahead and pick a wide receiver for him. I didn't expect Bateman to be here. I mean, I guess there's a likelihood that he is. I'm hearing a lot of Rondale Moore talk to them from Purdue because apparently he's an all-around guy. That could be the more likely scenario. I like Bateman more. However, I actually think that they will go Rondale Moore because I think with the kind of receivers that they have on their team with Devontae Adams, Moore is going to be a better complement in the sense of he's kind of like a do-it-all kind of guy to go across from him. And I think that's where I've been hearing a lot of buzz on Moore to the Packers. So So we'll see. That's my pick for them.
I've heard some Terrace Marshall to them as well. Like he's fit wise, more or less, not like buzz wise, but yeah, I think they for sure go receiver. They should have done that last year, but yeah, I think if they do that, that would be great. So I'm up here with the Bills. It says cornerback's their need, and honestly, I think they probably need a little bit of offensive lineman help. I probably would go O-line if I'm them, but it does say cornerback's the biggest need. I was looking at some mock drafts earlier. I had him going cornerback. So basically, Eric Stokes is a stud. I'm going to go Asante Samuel Jr. here. I think he slides up here in the first round, back end first round. His dad was a stud, former Eagle. I don't know. But I don't have much to say about him, but good corner, big school. Cy, anything from him?
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
He's a little undersized, though. That's the only. He's a playmaker. He's all over the field. But man, if like an NFL, like some of the larger running backs, like a Derrick Henry's running at him, he is make that tackle.
Pair him with, I don't know the scheme fit personally, but it seems like any corner with Tre'Davious White would be really nice. So we'll go with it.
We'll move on to Baltimore at 31. I will say, as the Washington football team fan, if this is how the draft goes, this is like Washington trading back into the first or the early second territory to get one of these linebackers, like Zabin. I think they like Jamin Davis or Cox a little later on, but just a little sidebar there. I'll give him the offensive tackle help here that they seem to be seeking according to this. So I'll go Leatherwood.
Nice. Just to cap off the end of the first round here, the reigning Super Bowl champs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, you see, a pressing need at wide receiver. So I'm going to go with Rashad Bateman. And the reason being is because AB's gone and Chris Godwin is franchise tag. There's no way they maintain him after next year because he's going to be getting some Kenny Golladay money. So I'm going to go Bateman at 32, and I think that's probably the right pick here.
I'll say this. Sorry, so guys, I was going to say, I'll say this. If they take Bateman as opposed to taking ETN or Zaven Collins here, I'm going to be the happiest person on this planet that they didn't just add some like ridiculous talent to a team that just won the Super Bowl, because I think Bateman would be a terrible pick for them here with the ability to supplant a position that they actually need right now, right? Because they don't even need Bateman because they still got the who's that third receiver that was
Tyler Johnson.
Well,
Scotty Miller. Yeah,
and Scotty Miller. They got some guys, bro. They got some guys.
Stop.
I just want to look at these team needs, dude. Look at their team needs. They have receiver and edge, dude. They're Shaq Barrett. I mean, their defensive ends are absolute or edge. They play at 3-4, but their edge player might be their strength. The receivers, they got two absolute studs in Evans and Godwin, and then if AB comes back, I still think he comes back even. I think I've heard this actually is ETN here, which there's almost like they literally have no weaknesses, so they're like we're going to take ETN here.
Let me ask you guys a quick question because I know we're running hot here. I'm gonna give each of you 15 seconds. Who if this is how the draft plays out, who's still the first round for y'all? And
can Ed scroll back through it so we can look again?
Real quick.
Are you talking about value based on selection?
Exactly. Like, who do you think was the best value pick for a team here? Like, who do you think really hit the ball out of the park with who they got at their pick?
I'd say Micah Parsons at 21. I'd say Pittsburgh Steelers get Najee at 24. I mean, I would say some of the later round picks, actually. I think Mac Jones at 15 with New England's a great one as well.
Give me your number one. Give me your number one.
My number one, let's go Micah Parsons, 21, Indianapolis.
All right, Smicky, who you got?
Scroll back down. So I think it's so.
I finalized our draft.
That's all good.
There you go. That's better, actually. I'd go Penny Sewell. I think I'd argue he could be the best. I think he is the best tackle. Borderline generational type talent, according to scouts, not to me. But just seems like a can't miss dude. If he falls to even 8 or 9 or whatever to 8, I mean that's a stud.
By you,
you guys took my top 2 choices, both great choices. So in an effort to be different, give me Justin Fields at 9.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I think all this Justin Fields. I think I mentioned it on our pod, Zach, last week. I think all the negative Justin Fields stuff is kind of nonsense. So
I'm with you there, E. I think Zach took Micah, and I'm not going to say Micah again because I don't want to be biased and pick my Colts, even though I think it's a great pick.
My pick was the best value pick.
Jeremiah Owusu is somebody I'm big on for the Saints. However, the guy I'm going to pick, and Zach's going to like this, is a future Hall of Famer in Kyle Pitts at number 4. I don't care if he's a top 5 pick. That man is going to be a future Hall of Famer. You are hearing it right now. He is going to be better than Tony Gonzalez. That is the boldest statement I think I've ever made. Just you watch. Just you watch. Kyle Pitts, number 4.
All right.
Final thoughts here. Who was the worst pick? Who was the worst value pick?
Kyle Pitts at pick 4 to the Falcons.
I love it.
I just want for
7. That's mine. Jalen Waddle at 7. I'm not high on the Waddle game. I like Devonta Smith here. I think Waddle is kind of like a Henry Ruggs. And what has Henry done so far? So that's my pick. Worst pick.
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
I was kind of in on that. Can you slide up again and kind of show me that top? I was kind of leaning Mac Jones as well. I like a lot of the top guys. I think the top 10 is pretty good. I think Trey Lance's talent is unbelievable. It just seems tough to pick him number 3 overall. However, I think I gotta go Mac Jones, man. Like the Patriots might figure it out, but I gotta go Mac Jones.
Enjoy this one. Hopefully this gets you prepped for the draft. I'm gonna reiterate because we are all so pumped about this. We got the live stream on Thursday. Come join the chat. Come join the show. Just ping in the chat. We'll get you on the show. But we'll all be on. Looking forward to it.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining as always.
Stay tuned for the Insta updates, my peeps. We're gonna keep it rolling this week because we're gonna want to get you guys nice and engaged during draft week. It's our favorite time of the year. So as far as podcasting goes, so looking forward to that. With that being said, if you guys don't have anything else to say, one heck of an episode, guys, and that was Mondays Down South.
Peace.